Nice, steady growth of green. Look at that. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to all ages, welcome to a quick, shaky vlog with a purpose. Someone actually asked me to explain or give tips for, I guess, planting in Arizona, which I never thought about because the only place I ever planted was in Arizona. Just tips, I guess, on how to garden in Arizona, which I don't know how to explain other than to watch the heat and the cold. So, yeah. So the first thing is I lucked out when buying this house because it had a built-in automatic watering system, which I use for my own method. So I could have this water and set up to go, ooh, strawberry's starting to get red. So I could have it automatically water because that's an important thing. Because one thing, and the one big tip I'll give you about watering, especially heavily watering certain areas, or sprinkling, using sprinklers rather, is that do it in the morning. Much like getting gas or filling up your gas tank, by the way, hello, is that you best to do it in the morning before the sun comes up or before it gets hot. Because again, here in a month, it'll be 100 degrees. In 2 months, it'll be 120 Fahrenheit, of course. So eventually, if you water during the day when it's that hot, not a lot of it's going to soak because a lot of it's going to evaporate. So like my system waters at 5 o'clock in the morning all the time. So even in winter I do that, but in winter you run the opposite issue that it can freeze. It's rare, but it happens that we hit frost warning, and then you should cover up your trees with blankets and stuff. Now, I never done that, just mainly because I'm lazy. But you do want to provide shade to certain delicate plants. So say these, peppers. And one of these, this is a jalapeno, that's a tangerine dream, whatever that means. They do okay in the heat. Matter of fact, that's where they get their heat from. No, just kidding. That citation needed, and that's not true. But no, these guys okay in the heat. The tomatoes, on the other hand, can be hit or miss. So usually you want to put a little bit of shade. Not shade like this is probably actually bad, but like that kind of partial shading. Because the main thing, oh yeah, like that stuff. Because certain plants, like my dad has a cherry tree that we're not too sure about how it is going to handle the heat. So you might want to provide with a little bit of shade. So this guy, and there we go. Oh, can't even see him. The tomato plant, sorry, I just like to sit down. The tomato plant, since I planted it there, will be in the shade, say from 3 o'clock on, which is going to be some of the hardest part of the day. But it's also next to a wall, which absorbs heat all day, which becomes radiant. So some things to take into account into making where to put your plants is how hot it's going to be, how hot it's going to be at the peak of the day, and is that heat going to retain throughout the day. So otherwise, yeah, that's about it, really. Try to get plants that work in Arizona, which if you're buying at a local nursery, usually pretty good. Heat can be your friend, sunshine can be good and bad, but shade can help. So, oh, and of course the biggie, just water in the morning, which is pretty, to me it's obvious, but again, I grew up here. Again, same way that they talk about to get the best value, you fill up your tank during the morning or when it's cooler. Again, the old adage is that heat causes gases to expand, so when you're filling up, there's more. I mean not gases in the liquid form, gases in the gas form. Us Americans have weird languages. That was a sentence. But yeah, I mean, speaking about getting plants at work, this guy, an aloe. So is this guy. I don't water these guys. I have never watered that or that. Matter of fact, I'm hoping that dies because that's the other thing, which is less of an Arizona thing and more of a general thing about potted plants or gardening, is have some space down below to avoid grass root rot. But anyways, that guy birthed this one and the one in my front yard. Aloe. Oh, there's another thought, again, for planting in Arizona. Be careful what you plant and how much it might spread. So you have these guys, again, aloe. This was one plant in the middle. This is how much it spread without me watering it. Pretty flowers though. Seen hummingbirds go for these guys. But yeah, this will spread and continue to do so until I stop it. Same with the front yard. I put a ring around how big I want it because these things spread like weed. Matter of fact, speaking of weeds, there's one in the middle of it. But yeah, that'd be the other thing, is make sure you have a set area in case it grows too much. Like the pomegranate right there works beautifully in the desert, in this hot environment, but it'll grow like crazy. My dad has one giant, it's a tree. Well, I mean, they are also trees, but I mean, it's a giant thing. So you want to try to keep it to the size you want, otherwise some things will get out of hand. So, but yeah, that's about it. Make sure you have proper drainage, especially during monsoon season if it's outside. Make sure if it's delicate that you have protection from the sun and or frost warnings in winter. Make sure if you can, you water it when it's cooler. And sometimes if it's hot enough, watering it during that time wouldn't be bad either. But you know, like I said, that's all I could think of as far as advice for gardening in Arizona. So there you go. So just a quick shaky vlog about gardening tips in Arizona, I guess. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head other than use soil. I have fertilizer from the source, as it were. Again, farm country we grew up in back that way, as I'm pointing. Dad's friends with a lot of farmers, so if they have any extra manure or they have buckets of the stuff, he usually maybe grabs himself one or two from them, and I grab some from him. So, but the soil here, the traditional dirt stuff, is pretty lackluster as far as nutrients is concerned. So you want to throw in some of yourself, mixing in garden soil or manure or plant food to help, especially with the initial growth start. Because again, for the most part, dirt here is just dirt. There's not much nutrients in there to grow, say, grass. So, yeah, I can't think of anything else important. So like when my dad does his garden, he tills the soil with the manure so it mixes in well. So again, he does an actual proper garden with corn and various other crops. I mean, rows of the stuff. So then again, he also has 5 acres of land to use. I don't. So again, I have 4 trees and I barely have a small backyard. And I'm tempted to buy more trees. So eventually I won't have a backyard, I'll have an orchard. But anyways, also the way I water these guys with the watering system is I flood irrigate. So which is a good thing to do for thirsty plants like trees and other stuff, or tomatoes. Again, just kind of these little water droppers, and I let it flood. And these ones, I keep it circle, it floods circles thing there. Oh, also, make sure your watering stuff is appropriate for the sun. This used to be covered in blue stuff. Right there, that plastic. And then the sun ate it all up. So eventually this will break. But yeah. So make sure you, whatever you use to pot with or water with, that it can withstand the sun. If not, you watch it. But otherwise, yeah, flood irrigates. Very nice. And beautiful little flowers. Look at that. That's something to end on, I guess. Ooh. These are opening up too. Very nice. Anyways, again, someone asked just for general tips, and that's the best I can come up with off the top of my head. I should have planned this out better, but also, well, about this thing when the last minute is I am leaving, heading on a jet plane even. And I do know when I'll be back again in about 10 days. So thought I also announced that. So I'll do some final recordings here. Finish up Amazing Frog, do all the ones I said I would, maybe do a live stream at the end of the night, but more importantly, I'll start editing again since I'll be on the road. So expect more videos on a regular basis once I get on the road again. So otherwise, yeah, let me know if there's any other questions you have. I might be able to answer them. I don't know. I don't know if I was any help anyways, but yeah, otherwise, thanks again for watching. See you next time.